It's Persani here. 10 o'clock requests kick off in just a couple of minutes. First, though, we're talking food, and with the news that the Coronation Quiche is going to be part of many menus across the country, and here in Rutland and Stamford, I was thinking, we need to get a flavour of this, a take on this, an idea of how much it's going to be taken up. I was racking my brains thinking, who should we speak to? And then a name of someone in Oakham came to mind. So just a few weeks until the coronation, and I don't know whether you're thinking about what you might be making. Coronation Quiche obviously has now been published by the royal household. Pippy Woodley does a lot. I suppose you are a kind of buffet afternoon tea. You love cooking.
I absolutely love cooking, and yes, afternoon tea is my thing, and we will be having an afternoon tea party in the garden with my friends, and yes, Coronation Quiche will feature in my afternoon tea, but not quite how they've done it. I think the idea is absolutely lovely. There are a few things, broad beans, not everybody's favourite, and also they're not in season, so I don't know why they've chosen broad beans, so I'm going to be putting asparagus in my quiche. I love the idea of the spinach, I love the idea of the tarragon, but I might actually tweak the tarragon and maybe use dill, so it'll be kind of a coronation quiche.
I do know what you mean, actually, because asparagus is just about perfect for that nice at a time.
It's in season. I don't know when they were coming up with the idea. Maybe broad beans are Charles and Camilla's favourite thing, but broad beans sadly are not in season, and I don't want to use frozen ones, so it will be asparagus for me.
And coronation chicken, is that something that you think works as well? I mean, that's something that obviously was developed in the 1950s, has been, something that people have revisited over the years.
Coronation chicken, curried chicken, now there's a thing. Yes, I think there may be a coronation chicken vol au vent appearing in my afternoon tea somewhere along the line, or maybe a sandwich, but it is such a classic and it's very nice, so yes, I think I might do that.
Do you think that you've got any tips you could give to other people, the fact you've done this lots of times, to actually make sure that their celebration is successful, whether it's in the garden, whether it's part of a street party or maybe a bigger gathering?
My best advice is don't do everything. If you've got lots of people coming, get somebody to make sandwiches, get somebody to make some scones, do lots and lots and lots of things in advance. So do as much as you can in advance, because you want to have a glass of champagne and you want to enjoy the day. Going back to the Coronation Quiche, if I can give you any advice, pastry is quite a hard thing to make. If you haven't made pastry a lot, it's quite hard to make. Buy ready-made pastry. It's absolutely lovely. Nobody will know. Make sure you cook it blind to start off with, otherwise you'll get a soggy bottom, and nobody wants one of those for the coronation.
Do you put the fork kind of,
Yes, you do. You roll your pastry out, you put it into a flying case, or if you haven't got a flying case, you can use the flat tray that you'd make your cakes in, as long as it's round. Prick the bottom. Pop a little piece of baking parchment in and some baking beans. If you haven't got baking beans, pop some rice in. Bake it blind, which just means putting it in the cooker and cooking it without any filling in it. Do that for about 10 minutes and you won't get a soggy bottom.
And the baking beans, that stops it rising, does it, basically?
It does. It keeps everything nice and flat because your pastry will bubble and rise, just ever so slightly, but this will keep it all nice and flat. And don't worry if it does bubble a bit, take it out and then it will go flat again before you put your filling in.
Wow, thank you for the tips, Pippy Woodley. Have a wonderful party yourself, and thanks for joining us on Rutland and Stamford Sound.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Have a fantastic time and do lots of cooking.
3, 2, 1.
It's Pippy Woodley from Oakham. If you've got any coronation cooking tips, do share them with us here at Rutland and Stamford Sound. I can get Pippy on again sometime, actually, chatting about food. It's Rutland and Stamford Sound.